Hi everyone. Today we're going to do our last facial highlight before we do the wrapping up things like enliveners and outlining and eyes. So it's the last color on the flesh. The colors I've mixed into this little tub with clear glaze medium are unbleached titanium, yellow oxide, and raw sienna. And I've already put a little bit on my plate. So now, just like in previous highlights, we will cover a little less area than the one that went before. And I have my color copy here just as a reference. You know, once I solve the problem initially, I too tend to look at previous incarnations. This highlight goes a lot faster because we don't need nearly as much paint. And as I did on the other highlights, I do features first, covering less area. Might have covered too much of that eyelid. So I'm going to just take a damp brush, take a little bit off. Back to that ear. Always have a brightness above the lip. And on this particular color, I do the bottom lip, but not the top lip. Can see that I'm taking just a very little bit of paint onto my brush. I think the biggest problems folks have is getting too much paint on the panel and then not knowing what to do with it all. So that mantra always works for me. Lay in the paint, clean off the brush, spread it out. Okay, so I have a little bit of pigment on all the features. Now I'm going to go to a bigger brush, number 6. I was just using a 4. I like to use the biggest brush I can for any given area. Okay. See a little black speck on the board. Don't want to paint it in. You know, some famous artists like Cezanne, when he was doing plein air painting outside and a fly would land, he would just whack it into the canvas. That's truly very organic. And when I'm blending, I do all my blending with a brush. I am barely touching the panel. Don't want to lift up any of my paint that I'm laying in. Get a little bit of water in it. I sometimes, you know, I never add water to my mixes in these tubs, but when I'm working on the actual highlight, I sometimes add a few drops of water. And even more so with this color, because I like it to go on more transparently than the other colors. I don't need to build it up quite the same. Okay, and we'll put a little bit on the neck here. And the closer the paint is to the previous color, the less blending you have to do. It's almost a natural fit. Okay, now when that's done, you can come up. It's probably dry. We can put the fan on it for a minute here. And I will go again and do another layer or two, build it up a little bit. Then I will take a photo and I will post the photo after this. But it's the same basic application as we've used in the previous colors. We're just coating it less. So that's all for this demo.